My mom said, let her have it. She's pregnant. But she wasn't. She faked a baby bump, forged legal papers, and tried to declare me insane just to steal my wedding. I exposed them all on camera. My mom looked me dead in the eye and said, you can still get married, just not at that venue. Let Sky have it. She's earned a little joy. That was the moment I realized my family didn't see me as a daughter anymore, just a backup plan for someone shinier. My name's Mara. I'm 34, and I've spent most of my adult life learning how to make other people feel celebrated. That's probably why I became an event coordinator. I love creating beauty from chaos, turning scattered moments into something magical. But the one event I dreamed about, the one day that was supposed to be mine, got hijacked by the one person who's been treated like royalty in my house since I was 10. Her name's Sky. She's my cousin, technically. But ever since her mom, my mom's sister, died in a car accident, my parents took her in. She was 8, I was 10, and from day one it was clear Sky was no longer just my cousin. She was the sainted daughter of the tragic sister, and I was the footnote. I didn't resent her, not at first. It wasn't her fault. But over the years, it became obvious that she knew exactly how to use the grief-shaped pedestal they'd placed her on. Sky didn't just get the bigger room. She got out of chores, skipped consequences, and when I got a B+ in math, I was lazy. When Sky failed geometry, my mom cried and said the teacher was clearly biased. When I was 17 and accepted into a competitive arts program out of state, my mom said no because Sky needs you here. But when Sky wanted to do a year abroad in Paris, we all had to make sacrifices for her future. Still, I stayed. I stayed when they forgot my birthday 2 years in a row. I stayed when Sky borrowed my clothes and returned them stained or didn't return them at all. I stayed because I told myself I was the strong one, the responsible one. Then I met Jonah. And for the first time in years, I let myself imagine something that was mine. Our relationship moved slow and steady. 5 years long distance while I helped him build his nonprofit in Seattle, and he supported me through my dad's cancer treatments. He proposed under the stars at the observatory we went to on our first date. I said yes through tears. We chose to get married in the same historic estate where my grandparents celebrated their 50th anniversary. It had this beautiful ivy-wrapped rotunda and a garden that looked like it belonged in a Jane Austen novel. But it was booked solid for years. So, we waited. 18 months of planning. Spreadsheets, mood boards, vendor meetings, a hand-drawn seating chart. And then came the engagement dinner. I should have seen it coming. We'd just finished the first toast when Sky clinked her glass and stood. Everyone turned. Her makeup flawless, hair curled to perfection, and a gentle smile that I now know masked calculated destruction. I have news, she said sweetly, placing a hand on her stomach. I'm pregnant. And engaged. Applause. Cheers. Tears. My mom was sobbing like someone won the lottery. And then, right there, in front of 40 people, Sky turned to me and said, since we're both getting married, I thought, wouldn't it be beautiful to share the venue? Like, you can still have the morning and I could take the afternoon ceremony. We'd both save money and it's tradition, right? People laughed like she was joking. I didn't. I looked her in the eye and said, no. Her smile vanished. Sorry? Number, you're not using my venue. She blinked like I'd slapped her. But I'm family, and I'm pregnant. And I've been planning this for a year and a half. You're not taking it. She stormed out. My mom followed. My dad looked down at his drink. Jonah took my hand under the table and squeezed it so tight I thought he might break something. Then came the whispers. My aunt called me cruel. My nan said I should be the bigger person. My uncle muttered something about sharing joy. 2 days later, I got a call from the venue coordinator saying someone had attempted to modify the contract. Not cancel, just add a secondary bride. Under my name. I was livid. I drove straight to the venue with my planner and confronted them. They showed me the email, signed Mara S. But the email address was different, one Sky used. I called my mom and told her what happened. She had the nerve to say, maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe Sky thought you'd come around. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I hung up. Then, that night, Jonah and I sat down and made a new plan. We weren't canceling anything. We were upgrading security. And I started keeping a record. Every message, every call, every social media post Sky made with the hashtag #sign shared sister's wedding. Every friend who unfollowed me. Every vendor who mentioned a second bride. But I wasn't prepared for what came next. Because 3 days later, I got a DM from a burner Instagram account. Just a single screenshot. A group text between Sky, my mother, and my former best friend. The message from Sky read, she's not giving it up. So maybe it's time we make her look too unstable to get married. I stared at the screenshot for a full minute before my hands even moved. My eyes kept going back to one line. So maybe it's time we make her look too unstable to get married. And underneath that, my mother had replied with a thumbs up emoji. A damn thumbs up. Like she was co-signing on ruining her own daughter's life with the enthusiasm of ordering takeout. I dropped my phone. Jonah was sitting next to me on the couch, quietly researching security companies. I didn't say anything. I just handed him the phone. His face hardened. He didn't say anything either, but the way his jaw clenched said it all. I think if he could have marched over to my mother's house and unloaded everything in his chest, he would have. But we both knew I needed to handle this. I needed to make decisions for once, not just react. So I did what I always do when I feel completely shattered. I made a list. I opened my notes app and wrote 3 things. Verify the group chat is real. Document every interaction from now on. Do not let them win. The next morning, I called the only person in that group text who might actually still have a sliver of decency. My ex-best friend, Elena. We hadn't spoken in months, not since she got weirdly cozy with Sky after my engagement dinner. But when she picked up, her voice was soft, almost guilty. Hey, I skipped the small talk. Did you send me that screenshot? Silence. Then, no. But I know who did. She didn't say much else. Just that she didn't want to be involved anymore, and that things had gone too far. I thanked her and hung up. I didn't cry. I didn't even scream. I just added her to the list of names I'd one day delete from my contacts. Permanently. That same night, my mom called me. Not to apologize. Number she called to say that some of the family thought I should consider taking a short break from social media to clear my head before the wedding. I almost laughed. Instead, I said, "So this is the part where I go dark so you can spin whatever story you want, right?" She gasped, all offended innocence. What? No, Mara, I'm just saying you've seemed emotional lately. Erratic. Like maybe planning this wedding has been too much for you. And just like that, the trap was revealed. They were trying to build a narrative that I was unstable, paranoid, maybe even mentally unfit to follow through with a wedding. So if I canceled, they could say they always saw it coming. And if I didn't cancel, they'd make me look like a bridezilla who cracked under pressure. I hung up. Then I called my therapist and booked a double session. I needed to talk to someone who would listen without trying to gaslight me into submission. Meanwhile, Sky was posting like nothing was wrong. Her Instagram was flooded with pastel mood boards, captions like, "Blessed to share our joy soon," and "Family means everything." She even used the venue's geotag in one of her stories, as if she'd already claimed it. What made it worse were the people commenting. Friends, cousins, people I'd known since grade school, congratulating her, saying things like, "Can't wait for the dual wedding." I felt like I was being erased in real time, but I wasn't going to let that happen. The drama reached its next level 2 days later. I walked into a meeting with the venue manager just to confirm the date, layout, and security plan. Everything was set. But as I was leaving, she pulled me aside and said something that stopped me cold. "Hey, just wanted to let you know, your cousin tried to drop off her own floor plan last night." I blinked. What? She said she was co-hosting the event and needed to confirm a flower arrangement drop-off time. But it didn't feel right, so I held on to the papers and figured I'd check with you. She handed me the plan. It had Sky's name scribbled at the bottom in gold ink. The same gold she always used for signatures, like she was royalty. That night, I called Jonah and told him we were adding cameras. Everywhere. Entryways, parking lot, even a hidden GoPro near the reception entrance. He agreed without hesitation. I used to think that betrayal was a punch to the gut. But betrayal from your own mother? That's not a punch. That's a slow, twisting knife you didn't even know you'd been carrying until she shoved it in. I sat at the kitchen table, fingers trembling as I reread the document Jonah handed me. A legal petition. Signed and dated. Submitted to a local court under concern for mental instability. My mother had actually tried to strip me of legal authority over my own wedding. Her justification? Recent erratic behavior and paranoid delusions affecting event logistics. I couldn't even process it. Not fully. But I knew one thing. This wasn't about concern. This was about control. Jonah knelt beside me, calm but furious. "We're going to fight this. You're not alone in this." He was right. I wasn't. But for the first time in my life, I also realized I wasn't powerless. I spent that night wide awake, staring at the ceiling while every memory of my childhood played on repeat. All the times I'd been told to, "Let Sky have it. Don't be difficult. You're older, act like it. They weren't just words. They were bricks in a wall that kept me quiet for decades, but not anymore. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, a family friend of Jonah's. Her name was Kelly, and she'd spent 10 years dealing with inheritance fraud and coercive family behavior. I sent her the document, explained everything, and waited for her response. 10 minutes later, she called back. Her tone was sharp. Mara, this isn't just manipulation. This is premeditated abuse. You're being gaslit through the legal system. But good news, they screwed up. Apparently, the petition my mother submitted was missing key evidence. Just a few vague statements, no medical backing, and, this is the kicker, it referenced a psychiatric evaluation that never existed. They made up a diagnosis out of thin air. I had options, legal options, but I wanted to do more than defend myself. I wanted to expose this entire circus, publicly and unmistakably. So I made a plan. Step 1, the receipts. I gathered everything. Emails where Sky tried to fake my identity with the venue. DMs where she plotted to share my wedding without asking. Screenshots from her burner account mocking me. Recordings of family whispering lies about my mental health. I even printed out her Instagram posts where she tagged my venue like it was hers. Step 2, the confrontation. Jonah and I invited my parents over for a peace talk. We needed it to look real. My mom showed up in a beige sweater and crocodile tears, like she was the injured party. My dad sat stiffly beside her, avoiding eye contact. I kept my expression calm. I let her speak first. Mara, sweetie, I never meant for it to go this far. We just thought you were under stress. All that pressure, all those details. It's a lot for one person. We thought maybe you needed a little help. I looked her straight in the eyes. You tried to take away my rights. You told a court I was insane. She blinked. That's not what I... You invented a medical record. That's perjury. Silence. Her lips trembled. My dad finally spoke. We were just trying to help keep the family together. You've become so combative lately. I laughed. Laughed. Because the gaslighting was so blatant it didn't even sting anymore. Then I stood up, walked over to the laptop I'd left open on the kitchen counter, and clicked play. The screen lit up with a video montage. Every document, every message, every voice memo. I had recorded this conversation too, and I was streaming it live to a private list of trusted family friends and relatives. My mom's face drained of color. She reached for the laptop. What are you doing? I pulled it back, making sure everyone sees what's been happening. No more secrets, no more spin, just truth. She started sobbing. My dad tried to reason, but the damage was done. You'd think that would be the climax. But no, that wasn't even the worst of it. Because the very next day, Sky showed up at my apartment, uninvited. I was home alone. Jonah had stepped out to run errands. I opened the door thinking it was a delivery, and there she was. Lip gloss perfect, hair curled, eyes manic. You've ruined everything, she hissed. Everything was fine until you made this a war. I stood my ground. You declared war when you forged my name and tried to hijack my wedding. She stepped closer. You're selfish. You always have been. You act like you're so put together, but deep down you've always been bitter I had what you didn't. And what's that? I asked, folding my arms. Her lips curled. Their love. That hit harder than I expected. But then she smiled, too calmly. You really thought that live stream was your big move, huh? Something in my stomach turned. She reached into her purse and pulled out a USB drive. I was going to use this the night before your wedding. Leak it to the guests, your boss, maybe even Jonah. But now? She tossed it onto the floor. Now I want you to see it first. She turned and walked away before I could ask a single question. I picked it up. My hands were shaking. Inside the drive were 6 video files. I clicked the first one. It was me. In my college dorm, drunk, laughing, making a joke about faking a panic attack to get out of a final exam. Another one, me at 23, ranting on a private video diary about my mom and how I sometimes wished she would just disappear. Old footage, out of context, edited, spliced together. Enough to make me look like exactly what they'd been saying. Unstable, bitter, dangerous. And that's when I realized something horrifying. She didn't just want to ruin my wedding. She wanted to ruin my life. You ever feel your pulse so loud in your ears it drowns out your thoughts? That was me, staring at the screen, watching old versions of myself. Clipped, distorted, weaponized. Sky had dug through a decade of my life, twisted my lowest moments, and turned them into a digital noose. 6 videos, 6 carefully edited files meant to destroy me. Not just my wedding, my reputation, my career, my future. Jonah came home just as I was halfway through the 4th one. I didn't say anything, just slid the laptop toward him, hit pause. He watched in silence. When it ended, he turned to me and said, "You need to flip the script, not react. Dominate." And just like that, I stopped feeling like a victim. Here's what I did next. I didn't delete the videos. I backed them up. Then I contacted someone I never thought I'd speak to again. Lena Harper, a woman I'd met 3 years earlier while working a charity gala. At the time, she was a small-time journalist trying to break into investigative media. Now, she runs a fast-growing YouTube channel with 500,000 subscribers, focused entirely on exposing manipulation, fraud, and family cover-ups. I didn't give her everything right away. Just a teaser, a redacted clip, one piece of the puzzle. Her reply came within 10 minutes. "Holy sh*, you have more like this? If you're ready to go public, I'll help you burn the whole thing down." I didn't even hesitate. We spent the next 2 days building the drop. Lena and I compiled a timeline. Every forged email, every burner account post, the fake psychiatric claim, Sky's staged evidence. I added the live recordings from the confrontation with my parents. Lena requested interviews with a few old family friends who had quietly messaged me their support after the live stream. I kept it all quiet, even from Jonah. Not because I didn't trust him, but because I needed him reacting naturally when it dropped. The more real it looked, the harder it would be to deny. Meanwhile, I played nice. I didn't block my mother. I replied to Sky's texts with vague pleasantries. I even liked one of her wedding mood board posts. Bait. Because the real twist? I scheduled our final venue walkthrough for the same day she planned her own fake pre-ceremony shoot. The staff had told me in secret. They were going to let her walk in and decorate the foyer with her own team. I told them to let her. Why? Because Lena had booked 2 cameramen. Hidden. Watching. Recording every illegal move. The night before the venue day, Sky messaged me. "So glad you're being mature about all this. Family first, right? Let's both have our moment." I wanted to laugh, but instead I replied, "You'll get the attention you deserve." Promise she had no idea. Then came the day. She showed up at the venue in a white cocktail dress, flanked by her personal photographer, a florist, and a friend holding a ring light. They were treating it like a photo shoot for Vogue weddings. I stayed in my car, across the street, watching the live feed from Lena's team. That's when the kicker came in. Sky unrolled a custom vinyl banner for the venue entrance. It read, "Sky plus Hunter, our story begins here." And underneath, in smaller script, "Graciously shared by cousin Mara." I felt Jonah tense beside me. I could see the vein in his neck, but I didn't move. Instead, I looked at Lena's phone, where a countdown timer was already ticking. YouTube premiere, 7 p.m. Title, "Stolen Weddings and Manufactured Madness, The Truth About Sky." That evening, we went live. The video opened with a calm narration. Lena laid out the timeline. My engagement, the original venue plans, the sudden announcement by Sky, and then receipts, screenshots, audio clips, surveillance video. People watched as Sky walked into the venue and lied about being me. They heard my mother admit, on record, that she supported the legal petition because Mara was being difficult. They saw the group chat, the burner DMS, the USB drive, the edited videos shown alongside the original uncut versions, proving how badly they'd been manipulated. And finally, a sit-down interview with me. I wasn't crying. I wasn't raging. I was calm, steady, real. "I don't want revenge," I said to the camera. "I want freedom. I want peace. And I want people to know that sometimes your biggest threat doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people who claim to love you." The comment section exploded. Thousands of people commented in real time. Justice for Mara trended for 6 hours. Sky's Instagram went dark within 20 minutes. But that wasn't the twist. The twist came 3 days later. I received a message from someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Hunter, Sky's fiancé. I didn't open it at first. I stared at the notification for an hour, debating. But curiosity won. It was a single line. I had no idea. "Please call me if you want the truth." I texted back. "What truth?" He replied, "Sky isn't just sabotaging your wedding. She was never pregnant." When Hunter told me Sky wasn't pregnant, I didn't believe him at first. Not because I thought she was incapable of lying. Clearly she was. But because I couldn't wrap my head around how far someone would go just to be the center of attention. But then he sent me a photo. It was a picture of a discarded fake pregnancy belly, folded up in the back of her closet like a Halloween prop. He'd found it stuffed behind old purses after her meltdown over the YouTube expose. Apparently, after the video dropped, Sky spiraled. She locked herself in their apartment for 2 days, refused to eat, then confessed everything through tears, claiming she was pressured by family expectations. But Hunter saw through her, and he left. He also told me something else. The day she crashed my engagement dinner and announced her pregnancy, she had already started talking to my ex-boyfriend, the one I had to block 3 years ago. She was trying to line up a backup groom, just in case. That was it, the final puzzle piece. I felt everything in me settle. It wasn't me. It had never been me. It was always her. After that, things moved fast. Hunter offered to testify if I wanted to press charges. I did. Sky's impersonation at the venue, the falsified emails, and especially the forged legal document my mother submitted, all of it amounted to identity fraud, defamation, and attempted civil coercion. My lawyer, Kelly, filed a restraining order against Sky within the week. We also opened a civil suit for emotional damages. Meanwhile, the court issued a formal inquiry into the fake mental health record. My mother was served. She called me once, just once, to say I was destroying the family. I let it go to voicemail. I saved the message too. You see, I wasn't out for blood. I was out for clarity. The wedding? It happened exactly 1 month later, at the same venue, same garden, same rotunda. But this time, there were no masks. Jonah and I walked down the aisle under an arch I built with my own hands. My brother walked me in. Lena and her crew were there, not to film, but to celebrate. My new family. Even some of the extended relatives who had stayed silent sent letters, apologies, support, and one aunt even offered to cover the cake. I declined, politely, because I had learned something no one teaches you until it's too late. Sometimes peace only comes when you stop trying to earn love from the people who never knew how to give it. The twist? Sky didn't show up to court. Instead, she skipped town. My parents went silent, their number disconnected. I heard through a friend that she tried to launch a healing podcast about being a misunderstood empath. It had 2 episodes, then disappeared. But the internet doesn't forget. That YouTube video? It's now sitting at 2.1 million views. The top comment still reads, "You can fake a smile, fake a story, even fake a baby, but you can't fake the truth when receipts start rolling." So what's the ending? I moved. Jonah and I bought a place 2 hours north of the city. Quiet, wooded, peaceful. I changed my number. Started fresh. No family drama. No second chances for manipulators. No room for guilt in the life I fought to build. And just last week, I got a letter in the mail. No name, no return address. Inside was a single card. No message. Just a wedding photo of me and Jonah, smiling. Cut out from the newspaper. And on the back, written in shaky ink, I see it now. I really do. I hope one day you'll let us say it to your face. Mom, I put the card back in the envelope, sealed it, and tucked it in a box labeled closure. Because that's what it was. Not a new beginning, not reconciliation, just the end. Sometimes walking away isn't weakness. It's the loudest, clearest declaration that you refuse to live as someone else's shadow.